Yep.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted View podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford and we're back on another episode. As I says, it's on the before we come on JP. JP joined me this week again. Transfer news, mate. There's a lot of stuff happening in the last few days. Obviously, Jota, Vickers, they're the main two ones that we've not really heard much on the last few days. A lot of people in the know, a lot of journalists were all saying, obviously, announced here, announced then, and obviously nothing's happened yet. So, a lot to talk about with the other name. Personally, I do think they've all get done. I think it's just maybe Celtic's maybe waiting to a certain time to do it. But again, mate, how's things in obviously the Jota situation in Vickers, mate? Which do you think is going to be happening with that?
Hi, good evening, mate. Things are good. Feel as if it's been an absolute eternity for this. It's terrible when there's no Celtic for us on the telly or at the games or at all. Nothing at all. It's quite a hard one to take, but yeah, all good, mate. Enjoying the break, probably, as probably the players are as well. Jota and Vickers, mate, two of our standout players of the season. Me personally, it's dragging on a wee bit much now for me. I've had a full 10, 11, 12 months to say to get some things ironed out that we're still hearing that could be this, could be that. I really don't know, but if the deals were agreed in the loan deals and it was loans with a view to signing permanently and the fees already been agreed and the deals, then what really, other than agreeing the guy's weekly salary, what's the hold up? What's going on? Maybe as you said, Ryan, it might just be the fact that Celtic want to wait to a certain time to announce it. I mean, the players are starving. Vickers is obviously a big man's there with USA now, isn't he? I don't know how many games he's got to play, but Jota's obviously, he doesn't play international, so he as far as I know, I seen a photo of him the other day. I think he's over in America at the moment.
Right.
And that's off the back of a holiday in Ibiza. The both of them were together on. So, it's quite interesting to see, what's going on. Personally, I think the deals will get done as well. I don't think Ange is going to want to be left holding an empty ball for the two of them. So, Ange isn't the type either. I do think if that's not happening, then there'll be contingency plans in place so that, he's not left stunning holding the ball basically at the end of the day. The way Michael Nicholson likes to work, and what we saw previously, I don't think he's the type of man to stand still either. I think he'll have something up his sleeve as well, whether it be to try and get Ange what he wants. If he can, then it'll be the next best thing. I'm really hoping it's day two because, again, I really don't want to have to start again and find not only two quality players, but then it's two big, massive positions for us moving into a new season, especially when we're getting straight into Champions League group stages, right? It's a big centre-back and the wide forward positions, two key areas in the pitch for us that they two done a lot of damage in last season. So the next one might not be as good and it might not just work out the way it's worked out for us. So, yeah, but in my opinion, mate, I think it seems to be kind of, maybe it's just media driven, I don't know, but to us, with the way the media is portraying it, every couple of days you say, the deal's close and the deal's close and the deal's close, but yet we're dragging on and the deal's, there's only so much more close it can be before, the deal's done. It's either done or it's no. I really don't know what the hold up could be, mate, at this time.
I think one thing, I think obviously we were lucky to speak to William. Anybody who hasn't listened to the podcast before, William did agency work, kind of he's done his scouting and stuff like that with Motherwell now. He basically told us kind of the way transfers work, and so kind of now, before I spoke to him, you're always wondering why Celtic didn't sign guys quick enough, or what was the stumbling blocks? Why did these things not happen quickly? And I think the main example which he says was about Ryan Christie when he first signed for Celtic. The deal was it took months and months and months for him to sign. and it's a lot of, we obviously as fans, we don't know everything to do with deals and why they come and why they don't come and which stumbling blocks, but
yeah,
it kind of, for talking to him, it just shows you that these things could be simple wee things that drag on and drag on. It could be image rights, it could be something to do with schools for kids, it could be a long list of things that we don't even know. But I'm agreeing with you, mate. I try not to believe the papers, and I'm similar. I'm similar to kind of what you think as well. That you need to have the scarf, holding it up and going right. Then that, for me, that's when I know what's happened, and he's signed,
yes.
and that's it. I don't believe. You
Hype.
get the hype. For me, I think sometimes the papers sometimes put a story out, sometimes just to get people talking, and we've seen it before. Some guys have been linked with Celtic and in the papers saying it's close and they've never even fucking spoke to before.
Yes.
It just shows you that sometimes the media can put out names and then two and two come together and it can happen. So, but I'm like you, mate. I do believe that it is dragging on a wee bit, but I do believe that, from my own opinion, I think the deals are done, but they're just maybe waiting for some sort of announcement. Maybe the Vickers one doesn't seem done, but for me, the one Jota, I think it's done. I just think it just depends on Celtic agreeing whatever. I don't know what it is. Agreeing with his wages or whatever, but I do believe that there are guys we need to sign. I think there are two guys we must sign because just say they are going to be roughly £6.5 million, £6 million each. What type of money are you going to pay to get them in? They guys some more quality elsewhere. You're probably talking £10 million, £12 million to get, especially Jota's quality. For me, Vickers is solid, but for me, Jota's, I don't want to say a wonder kid, but he's very, very, very good. And for the level that we're at, for us to go and sign somebody like that without getting him on loan to come and see how he is first, how much are you going to pay to get him without? Of Celtic, for me, I've got whoever done the deal with, if it was Lawwell, Nicholson, whoever it was that done the deal to start the season, if we do get him permanently, you've got to give him a big fucking pat on the back because the value you're going to get from me off Jota is £6.5 million for that guy. Just look at Rangers supposedly spent in Kent £7 million. Last season, 3 goals. For me, if I was a Rangers fan, I'd be like, that's not good enough. You need to do more. So, and then we've looked at Jota, and you've done. He found his first year coming from a foreign country, and he's settled in like he's just settled in amazingly. So, I'm like you, mate. I just want them. I just hopefully maybe next week something starts fucking happening because you know yourself, mate. If it doesn't happen, and people keep saying it's going to happen this day, it's going to happen this day, it's happening, it's getting closer. People are going to start getting pissed off and frustrated, like we are already now, that it's not happened yet. So hopefully next week, mate, we start hearing more about it because, like you're saying there, if it keeps dragging on, you're going to start wondering, is this going to happen? Are these deals actually? I know it's still a long time to the start of the season and pre-season, but the way Andrew's talking, he's wanting guys in quick. So if he's not getting the guys in quick, you're going to think, oh, is there a wee stumbling block here that's stopping these things from happening? So I hope no, mate. I just hope they do get them in because I'm like you, mate. They're definitely 2 guys I think we must keep.
No, totally, Ryan. They were vital to the squad last season. 2 of them, the bigger reasons as to why we done what we achieved last season. I mean, Jota's caviar, isn't he? I mean, he's just. It was the last game against them, Crosswater at Parkhead. They won each game, and I think who is it? Is zips the ball? Was it you? It wasn't Juranovic. Was it Ralston? It was either Ralston or might have been Vickers. Somebody zips the ball. I think it might have been Hatate actually. No, the other 2. And he zipped the ball for more or less just above the right back position to the 4 wing. Jota's watching the ball. There's Tavernier's running along side by side. And he just kills the ball deep with his right peg. Just kills it deep. And Tavernier runs by him because he thinks he's going to take the ball in his chest. And just 3 things like that in a game, he just looks as if he's a genius at his craft. Do you know what I mean? Some things he can do with the ball, and you're just like, what I will agree with is, see last season before he got injured, and before he popped up with that hammy injury, I thought he was more confident at taking players on. You saw a lot of him just destroying players, like just his trickery, and I thought after he got that injury and came back, it was as if they lost a bit of that sort of wee bit of confidence in himself. But as the season started to progress, he started getting it back, and he kept going. But he was instrumental. And I mean, look at him away. The night away from home in Leverkusen, mate, we were really unlucky that night. And he was outstanding. He was totally outstanding. We get beat 4-0 at Park Keedbury, and it was never a 4-0 game. I mean, we were well in the tie. The man of the match of the game was a goalie. Even Celtic Park gave a goal at Hadaki. And me Frimpong, after 20 minutes, he was greeting for his mammy. Because every time Jota got the ball, he was getting tied and nuts. He kept running into people, and Jota was going that way, and he would go that way. And I think it was at one point, did he not sit Frimpong down? He sat him down on the edge of the box.
He did.
And then he cut through the middle of another two of them. And you're just like, you can't do nothing but applaud that, right? It's a skill level, mate, that you can't be taught. That itself's a raw ability. All you then do is just develop on the skill set the boy has. But they were monumental to us last season. And Big Carter Vickers, with the most clean sheets in the league, conceded the less goals. He was a vital part of that, and as to the reason why he was solid. He was outstanding. I do think the boys are happy, I really do. I think especially at Trophy Day, you could genuinely see their body language. When Jota's doing that as if he's conducting the Green Brigade when they're all singing, he was loving it. I mean, I said that a while ago in this time, that some of these boys have never won a title before, mate. That's the first time any of these boys have ever won proper silverware. And when you see it, and you get, especially in a stadium with that capacity, that must be unbelievable. I mean, I can only say, speaking for a fan and being a season ticket holder, it is unbelievable watching it on the pitch. Imagine standing on the pitch and hearing it from the other side. It must be absolutely extreme. So to have that feeling, you maybe go somewhere else and you'll be getting a lot of money, but you'll be sitting on a bench or maybe even some weeks up in the stand because you've not even made the full setup for that weekend. Sometimes the grass isn't green on the other side either, mate. It's not just about going and earning money, and obviously that comes if you've got good ability and you get to a good level and you work your way up. But a lot of these young boys jump ship because their agents are in their ears giving it, oh, you can go here and get 90 grand a week. Aye, it sounds appealing, of course it does. But that 90 grand a week, am I going to win medals? Am I going to play in the Champions League? Am I going to do this? What other guarantees can you give me apart from 90 grand a week? That's the way I would be thinking. But again, it's different for us because we were born into Celtic, man. We've sort of been brought up. Whereas Jota's, he's what we are with Celtic, with Benfica. But he's came to a realism now that he knows that he's probably not going to get a game with Benfica. There's already a lot of talk in Portugal now. That new manager that's going on there has obviously told Jota he's not going to be part of the plans, and he's not going to be any party. But he's bringing that. Is it Roger Smeed or something that's taking over the team? So and then I put it on the chat the other day. They've already said cheerio to Jota.
Yeah.
So it's not been announced for your end, but they've said bye-bye and they've put things on their pages and they've wished them all the best. And so that's what's making me think as well that something might happen soon. Then again, we've been saying that for, I don't know, January, February. But as I say, whatever happens, I'm at the stage now, Ryan. I don't know about yourself, mate, or any of the lads, but I think I wholeheartedly trust Big Ange. I really do. He now has my trust to go into a transfer market and just stay what he wants, because I'm not going to question, is he good enough? Because 90% of me already is going to believe he's good enough because of his recruitment up to now, mate. The last two Mondays, I mean, we spoke at length with us, and the array of talent he's brought through the door, mate, has just been absolutely frightening, scary. So for that, mate, he's earned my trust. So even if Jota or Cameron Carter-Vickers doesn't sign me, I firmly believe he'll bring in the right personnel to come in their place. I thought the interesting man here, I know, just we were talking about Vickers just quickly, is that big photo that appeared, and it's a big crate of tiles.
Aye.
And it's got the name on it, plus very obviously Bears Den when he started. I thought that part of having the Bears Den on it was pretty silly, to be honest, because if it turns out to be Cameron, then some angry people could turn up in Bears Den and start house hunting, mate, you know what I mean? But that's I thought that was the only bit I thought that was silly. The rest, okay, but as I say, you don't know if how genuine that is or how true it, if that's him or no.
Aye, no, definitely. It comes to Jota, mate, I think that he's at obviously a home it's going to be Celtic because there's not been any other talk about him going elsewhere. And the fact we've already agreed a deal for him, so by obviously they're saying cheerio to him, it's making you think the deal's done. But is it fucking done? Do you know what I mean? So
put it onto social media tomorrow, sign for Porto.
Oh fuck, I know. So
that's their luck.
So technically speaking, he's leaving Benfica. So you would think it's going to be us by obviously the deal's been agreed. So it's just again we don't know why it's taking so long. But another thing as well that obviously you're talking about Ange, we trust him in the transfer market and buying players. Obviously during the week, Neil Lennon's came out and basically he's not giving Ange advice. He's just telling Ange, listen, you will need to spend money because we all know the level, the Europa League, the Champions League, it's massive. Celtic will need to spend. If they make 30, 40 million, whatever it is they're made, they will need to spend, in my opinion, at least 50 million or something like that to spend on the squad. Obviously, £50 million might just be on Vickers and Jota, so. But again, we'll talk about it again on the night, how many guys are leaving and guys are getting released. So there'll be a lot of wages freed up as well to spend without even your season books and the Champions League money and whatever else. So, but I do agree with what Lennon says. I think I put it on Twitter. Just because let's be fair, I know we look back now, last season to obviously lose to 10, it was a farce, right? But you take that season out, Neil Lennon was actually a successful Celtic manager.
Oh, it was.
People need to look. You can't just look at the one season. We all know it was the biggest season probably we might ever have, and it's the team and him fucked it in the board. It's a total shambles. But you look at it in every pathway. As a player, he was a success, very successful player, and the manager it basically got us to that stage we didn't get to before, being Barcelona. Do you know what I mean? So. He did do a lot of good things, yes. You can look back and say, he was hot-headed, he was this and that. But just on the point he says, we've spoken about it for fucking months on this, about we need to be more physical, we need to buy basically stronger guys in the middle of the park. I know we keep saying a Wanyama type, but that type of player to go into these European games because there will be a battle and there's a big chance of Celtic, in my opinion, will get bullied when we play these big teams because we're just technically gifted players. We've not got enough guys, in my opinion, that put themselves about in these type of games. It's like going away to just see you're going to the Bernabeu, right? You're going to have McGregor, maybe Hatate or O'Reilly in the middle of the park.
Are Real Madrid full of tough guys over in?
No, I know what you mean.
Realistically, let's see all the big teams in the Champions League, right? Are they technically based, or are they kind of thuggish?
Aye.
They don't get me wrong. I mean, they do have players that that can cut up the game, but they're kind of fan few between and don't play with them every single week. So that's a tournament that's no kind of, in my opinion, it's no based on that type of football. It's based on who's the technically best.
Aye.
That's just my opinion. I don't see a team of thugs playing in the Champions League. I don't see that.
No, I know what you mean. Aye. But I just agreed on for our type of aspect of the team. I think we do lack a bit of steel.
I agree with that as well.
A bit of dig in the middle of the park. Even with Scott Brown in the team a few years ago, we still lack somebody to have it. You've got a lot. You've got a lot of strong characters in the team, like your Joe Harts and your McGregors, but I think we need a big, I call it a big bruiser in the middle of the park. Somebody to steamroll. Might not be the best of football players, but somebody will get the dirty side, the experience side, the elbows off the cuff. Just obviously not the damage people, but people who know football know what I'm talking about. So I agree with Neil when he says that
the dark arts of the game.
Yes, I totally agree with Neil when he says that. For me, the media made it out to be probably worse, and they basically tried to say that he was giving Ange advice. And I read the article. All he was saying what we've said, what other fans are saying, that we need to use the money to strengthen and buy better quality. And you need to buy guys who are going to fit to play the Champions League, i.e., maybe just for talking shit, you play Red Star. You might need somebody who's going to battle in the midfield. You can't just have 3 technical guys in the middle of the park. It's just not going to work. So I agree with you, Wayne. I don't know what you think of that with his comments, JP, but I just think some fans need to take a back step and actually think about what he's saying, not just because of what he done last year in the league. At the end of the day, he's still, in my opinion, Neil Lennon as a good manager. You can't say a guy that's not won trophies, he's shite. We all know I didn't want him to come back. We all know that. But if you look at his record as a Celtic manager, take away last year, it was all right. So if he is talking, he's been at Celtic, he knows the game, he knows the Champions League, he's played in it as a player, he's managed in it, he knows. So I would say some fans, listen, the guy is right what he says. In my opinion, he's right what he says. Totally what he says in that article was spot on. I think some fans just need to take a step back and actually think about what he's saying. No, just because it's Neil Lennon, just because it's him.
No, I agree, mate. I actually, I'm going to laugh because when I read the headline and I thought, oh, here we go. But it's not until you go into it and you see what he's actually saying. And realistically, right, I know he's a Celtic man through and through, right? And he's been held by at the Cyprus. He's just won a cup with them. I know. That's the first time they've won a cup in I don't know how many years. So he's already became a sort of a favourite there. But he's got that fiery side still on him. It was one of the last games there. I think it was the game after the final.
He's laughing all that to the man.
He got himself sent off and he was arguing with the refs. And kind of makes you proud of you back going, he used to be our manager, do you know what I mean? But a lot of people didn't like him for last season, and that's fair enough. But overall, he's a Celtic legend in my opinion, mate, and what he's done with a club player and a manager. He's only, put it this way, he's only player ever he won the treble as a player and then managed a treble as a manager. So nobody else has ever done that in a club. So to play with a club and then manage a club to win the treble as a player and then win it as a manager, that's some feat, mate. I don't care what league you play in. That's amazing. He also took us to the last 16 in the Champions League as well. Aye. That was scary. Albeit we get beat with Juventus. But as I say, we had a lot of good times under Lenny. Even the season before we won the 9, we were frightening that season. Frightening. Mm-hmm. The goals we were scoring, the way we were playing, we were battering teams at left, right and centre. Teams were lucky to... It was a bit similar to Ange, but we're playing a lot better football under Ange than what we ever have done, in my opinion. But it was a case of teams were turning up and going, we'll be doing well here, we keep us 32 a day. You know what I mean? St Johnson done that at Parkhead and get beat with 7. So, and that's going to happen. Like I've said it before, see under Ange, I firmly believe somebody's going to get gubbed at Parkhead in double figures. Easy. It's going to be one of the games where everything just clicks. If you look at the quality Ange's brought to the team, guys like Giacomakis and Kyogo, they missed a good bit of the season and they still were top scorers in the team. Now, I firmly believe Big Giacomakis has got all the tools to hit about 25 to 30 goals this season. Easy. He's just a born predator. And I firmly believe, with another wee bit of coaching, with a good manager and decent players run about him, he'll get the service to be able to have that. Because, let's face it, he's had the last couple of games with Greece now. But I don't want to be disrespectful again, but I don't think he's got the same quality in the Greece team as what he's got when about him at Celtic. He's not got guys like Jota and Kyogo and Maeda and Hatate and O'Reilly or Rogic. So, I mean, there's no boys like that when about him. And Greece on a great side. They've got a lot of young players who are developing, but I wouldn't say they're a formidable side. The only one I probably say is merely the standout, apart from big Giacomakis, is probably the big boy, the left fullback who's with Liverpool. Is it Tsimikas?
Aye.
He's a good player as well. And that's the only one. That's probably the only one I actually know. That's terrible considering I'm right into football and I know the other ones aren't really well known. They're all young boys. Whereas years past, like the team that won the Euros, I mean, you had Big Delas and Karagunis and Castanauskas and Samaras, and I mean, they were a right top side of me back then, you know what I mean? So you knew about 5 or 6 of them. Now you only know 1 or 2 of them. So I do think Giacomakis as well will be good. But getting back to Lennon, mate, I do think he's always, it's a shame he's always now going to be remembered, the manager that fucked the 10, really. I know you're laughing, but
No,
I'm afraid, mate, that's his label now, and that's what he's going to be remembered as.
I'm laughing when you say that, you're like, fuck the 10.
Well, he kind of did. He was in the hot seat, mate. He made a lot of daft. See, as a Celtic manager, mate, I don't care about anything he says, right? You can say the guy's a legend or that. He made a lot of daft decisions in the season that you're going, what the fuck are you doing? Like, taking the team to Dubai for starters, mate, in the global pandemic, and then try to fight it, going, well, we'll tell we were allowed to go. You shouldn't have went. It's that simple. You shouldn't have went. And then the photos that appeared, whether they be set up or no, it did look like a jolly boys outing, mate. We're sitting smoking and drinking and blowing saying, aye, but after that we get right into training. I don't doubt it. But when they went to Dubai under Brendan, there wasn't any photos appeared in the media of them sitting around pools, drinking, Shane Duffy smoking fags. Like, there was nothing like that, mate. There wasn't any Big Julian catching COVID and he was injured. So why was he even there? Why was he not left here to rehab?
Bonkers, mate. Bonkers.
It's absolutely unbelievable. So he took to be part of the Jolly Boys outing, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? What was missing was Del Boy and Rodney.
And Tigger. Aye.
Do you know what I mean? And Lennon walking about with speedos on, like that, empty seen Boise.
With a Fagny's booth.
That's it, Lennon with a Fagny's booth.
Aye.
And a big burn map on his Rabsy and Nisbet vest. Aye. Head oil, please. What's happening, troops? I've just woke up. I had a siesta there. Looks like you had a fucking nightmare with that hair, mate.
Fucking hangover, my leg.
Aye. Don't know about you, but your team had a nightmare. Don't know about you yourself that season. Jesus, Johnny.
I think as well, but I think there was
Big Barcast, I know. He was part of that as well, mate. So he played in that team. And I'm surprised. Do you know what? He was that bad he couldn't even catch COVID.
See, like you say, I think the reason why, obviously, the big thing with that is it was the fact that we could beat half of rain the day before it, and then I think that was a big outcry as well.
Right.
The fact that you've just can beat half your rivals. Listen, guys can go and have a beer, guys can go and do this after game. Fair enough, but
don't get caught doing that, and then so and obviously it was deemed that it was. What was it? A Scottish media guy that travelled with him. And but imagine being that stupid. Because what it looked like is it just looked like they were secluded to that area at the pool. It was just all players and staff and this, that, and that. But see, as a player, Brian, this is what I don't get, mate. You know fine well there's a global pandemic, right? Why is one of the players, or even Bruni being the captain, going like that to Lennon? I don't fancy this because this is going to come back to bite us. Now, they might have got to go ahead for that, right? Fair enough, fair dues. But when they went away and done it, Sheeran changed all the rules like a day or two later. They were already away. They weren't even back. They were just walking through the airport to get their luggage, mate. And there was photos of them branded all over social media, this, that, and that thing. The explosion fate, mate, was just unbelievable. And in my opinion, mate, the decision as a Celtic manager to take your team to Dubai in a global pandemic and then no 40s appeared. Mr. Lowell, or whoever was in charge in the office back then, must have been phoning him going, what are you up to? Because there's 40s appeared now all over social media and it looks like he's on a stag do. It looks like an outing that he's went, saw the players. But I think the players individually, mate, have got a responsibility there as well to go, nah, I'm going to opt out of this because it's going to look bad if we go away, as you said, Ryan, we've just lost to our rivals and then we're going to take off and go to Dubai for, what was it, a week to 10 days or whatever it may be. And then we came back and we had to play 2-3 games with the under 12s. It was unbelievable. And then you had boys like Cameron Harper and what was the other boy that played? Local Flex. And as I say, mate, I mean, they just look like two boys they pulled out the Emirates for a kickabout. Like, didn't they? They just, honestly, they looked as if they just went across the road and went, here, we're short of bodies tonight. And Figme was the manager, Mr. Stratton. So he wants you to play. He thinks you're no bad. He saw you playing crosses with your mates last Friday and after a game thought you were decent. So
jumpers for goalposts.
Aye, jumpers for goalposts, and I think one of them had a Ben Sherman jumper done or something. I think he fancied it. He thought the boy was a good, you know what I mean? So it was one of the ones. It was like real day. That was embarrassing. I know. I mean, the Cameron Harper, man, he looked as if he was about 4'4", and he just.
But that's the thing. See, like you're talking about.
He looked as if he'd Willow Flood's jersey on, man. The jersey was just too big for him, man.
But that's the thing. It's a good point you're mentioning that because it leads on to something as well that I think we can talk about, the fact that the youth academy, and obviously there's a lot of talk about the B team and the lower league, etc. And for me anyway, I think it's a good topic we can talk about, and I think fans will probably debate as well that obviously guys are leaving Celtic, like Dembele's leaving now. Well, he's a free agent. Whether or not Celtic come back and give him a deal, I don't know. I don't think so. But there's guys like him getting released, Ryan Mullins getting released, Connell's getting released. So I know Connell wasn't a youth player, but he was signed basically as a youth and then obviously into the first team. I think we've spoke about it as well. What do we need to do to keep our top talents and the youth players, and like I'm a big believer. If you're 18, 19 and you're good enough, I think you'll be in the first team. So I'm a big believer. See, if you don't really get in the first team until, obviously some guys can, like, there's some guys who'll take off maybe at 21, 22, and then they kick on. Players all peak at different levels and different times. But for me anyway, I think that if you're Dembele, 19, 20, and you're not playing with Celtic's first team, I don't think you'll ever play in the first team.
Aye.
That's just my personal.
There's an issue.
Same with guys, like you say, Local Fletch and Harper. When they came into the team, they looked lost. That's how I'm a big believer. Hopefully the way Ange is, the way he's got the pathway set up by the looks of it, they're all playing the same way. It's like the same formation, the same philosophy, and I think that is going to help us longer term. We're doing that every for the fucking obviously it's just a scenario. But for the under-8s to the first team, they've all obviously at that age, the youth teams, it's just all about taking part and winning and taking part and learning the game. But as you get older, you do need to start getting competitive. And by the way, listen, to get to the first team, that's how you need to play. You need to win. The winning mentality, it's all different. To Barcelona, they just play football. They don't really, at that level, they don't care about, obviously they care about winning, but it's all about development. And I don't know if that's maybe something up here that maybe it's too much for the boys. Like, you need to win every game. Even at youth level, you need to win. But if you don't do that at that level, you can't do that at the first team. It's got to be installed, in my opinion.
Well, of course.
For an early age. But that's probably, I think, we spoke about in the chat as well, that I don't know what other fans think, but I think we've got talented players, but obviously Ange is a man. He'll obviously know what youth guys can come in and play for the first team. But see if you're playing, I think it's a massive gap between, talking about the guy Lowell, other guys in the youth team.
Big Boss and Lowell.
Other guys in the youth team that are playing well against the guys at the B team, the lower league. But I still think it's a massive gulf to go in for that to the first team. So I think I always feel that to get into Celtic's first team, a youth player, I think you need to be extraordinary. Like your Giddies, your Maloney's, even James Forrest when he first came in. I don't watch a lot of the youths because we don't get a lot of access to it. Other people who maybe are into the youth system can maybe comment under the YouTube, or when it's out they can maybe let us know. But I don't see any guy who's going to be like, you can go for the youth team and go into the first team. He's quality, get him in. So it's like, obviously they've got to have a pathway somehow, but it's keeping these guys, like you said, boys went to Bayern Munich and guys are.
Well, we've just lost the boy Ben Doak at Liverpool.
So you've got to think what. Obviously,
the boy Liam Morrison, is it Liam Morrison? He's at Bayern Munich now. I've actually just read the night that his contract's ready to expire.
I think I've seen a comment to wrote on it. Supposedly they've got a year, they can extend them for a year. Supposedly they're going to.
There was another boy as well, wasn't there? Was it no Barry Hepburn or something? He was another boy.
I think that's it.
Bayern Munich.
So there's a lot of players that are leaving, and you've got to think to yourself, why are they leaving? Like why? And when they come into the first team, that they're not as good as maybe. I know maybe your Tierney's, your Forrest, your McGeady's, they're maybe exceptions, but normally every year you get one belter every year that came in and played. I don't see that. The last two, I couldn't tell you the last youth player that came in and I was like, fuck me, this boy's going to be a star. And even when they do, like your Ben Dokes, we've seen him and thought, this boy's all right. Dembele, all right.
McGregor.
That's probably the last one. Tom McGregor.
Probably knew you'd be looking at it going Ralston.
Well, he's not, to be fair, we all know how good Ralston's. Probably Tierney and McGregor's probably the first two. The last two, I think anybody that's coming in, you went, fuck me, these boys are good. Again, is that due as well? Like, obviously, I'm 28 now, right? You're a bit older than me. You've not got a lot of. They bother, mate. You've not got a lot of.
I look younger though.
Oh, I've got a baby face, mate. I shaved today. So.
You'd have hard people around
there. Fucking hard fucking your people around. So, but for me, as it, see, I look at now, right? I don't see wee boys playing the streets anymore. When we were younger, it's all you see. And is that a detriment to when these guys do go up and play youth football? Because it's just a different. I just don't know how you get more guys playing at a better level to get them up to the first team. I don't know what you think it, mate, but I do think we've got talent. There's a lot of talented players, but it's whether they've got enough to get because our first team is, in my opinion, it's one of the best first teams we've had in a long time.
Yes.
The talent and the manager, I think they've got to be, even just to make a squad, I think
exceptional. I think what's key with all that, Ryan, is that Ange's got a squad of them, maybe 8, 9, possibly 10 of them. They're training with the first team every day, mate. So I think that's maybe how, when we were short of numbers and you saw the lad Dawson come in and I'll put St Johnson when Kyogo goes off injured. And we were all saying, wow, man, that boy, like, compared to, like, say, the boy Harper and Oakleflex,
I think we said
that boy looked more physically ready for that level than what they did at the time. They just looked lost, eh, boys? I mean, let's face it, the boy Harper, I know he's been back to America and whatnot, and Oakleflex has went to West Ham, but I think down at West Ham he's the champion of pool or something, because he's certainly not playing football. I don't know what he's doing down there, but they two, when they get a game, they when they get a game of fives up the Wednesday night league at the pitch, mate, you know what I mean? The college leagues. It was bad. You would play with 9, you wouldn't even phone them, wouldn't you? You'd just be like, we'll play 5 against 4 this week, boys, because, I mean, let's face it, I don't like slagging boys, man, but they were rotten. I mean, they were terrible. I don't know if one used to wear 2 left boots, the other one just didn't have right boots to fit him. But the boy Harper, I mean, he just looked as if the jersey was about 5 sizes too big.
I think that just shows you how good, but to be a Celtic player you've got to be. Because
definitely
the jump, I think, obviously the Dubai thing was a shambles, right? But it was kind of good in a way because it shows you that how big a gulf is for the youth team to the first team.
Yes.
How good you need to be to step in and play.
Yes, no, definitely. And that's what I'm saying. You can see the physical difference in them on now, in terms of like the boy Dawson when he came up, even the boy Ben Dokes. When he got his couple of wee cameo appearances and Ange was trying to kind of turn. I think Ange knew for a wee while he was maybe wanting to go elsewhere. And well, that's certainly how it seems now. It seems as if he was giving them games. I mean, he was only about 15 when he gave him a game. So Ange was trying to kind of show him, look, this is what you can have. And he chose to go to Liverpool. Now, whether that's for financial reasons or whatever, I don't know. It probably is right enough. But we lost the boy Leo Hajeldi as well to Leeds. I don't know. I didn't fully lead, so I don't really know how many games he's played. But I have heard through the grapevine he's played quite a few for him this season.
He was on the bench and that a few times as well, mate.
Right. I think Jesse Mars is sort of maybe likes him, and he's gave him a couple of games as well. So, which is fair enough. I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe at that level, Celtic don't offer a good pay packet. I don't know. Maybe that's something the club will like. I mean, surely if you're losing talent right now, it's all right us saying talent, right? There's Karamoko Dembele, right? We've been hearing for a lot. It feels like the last 10 years now. We've been hearing that boys. Oh, he's better than anything else. And there's 3 different Celtic managers have kind of worked there now. If he was sort of more or less first team ready to play, and he's hardly had again. He's only played here and there, and it's been a couple of wee cameo appearances here and there. And I'm not saying the boy's a bad player, but what he showed, it's not showed me that he's country miles ahead of people, and he's, again, I don't want to slag the boy off, but something's obviously wrong when. What age is Karamoko now? Is he 19? Is he 19 yet, or is he 20 or what?
19, mate. Aye.
19. Okay. So this is at a point now where he must be shown, if he's got any ability, then he must be shown ability enough for. But Celtic have just let his contract dwindle away down the foot, want to talk to the boy and want to offer him a new contract, and there may be something behind it, Ryan. I think I know as well, mate, what's key with these boys is their attitude's got to be spot on as well, mate. No having these big egotistic agents and want to talk to Celtic, demanding all. So, I mean, agents will just kind of. Nowadays, it's right. He wants 5-year deal, and he wants this, and he wants that, and the club just goes like, "You bother, see you later." You know what I mean? And that's why I heard big Andy Considine at Aberdeen. I've heard he sent. He was a long time server at Aberdeen, and I've heard he sent his agent in with crazy demands. His agent just went in, he's like, I want this, I want that, and I want the next thing. And Aberdeen have just went, no, tell him he's gone, that's it. Jim Goodwin's like that, no dealing with it. And managers will no deal with agents like that now, Ryan. See if you give me a nice approach now. It's better than going in wanting to throw all sorts of demand. And maybe that's got a lot to do with it, I know, mate, who knows. It's all right for us in the background to sit and go, well, he must not be good enough, or he must. I think me and Robert were talking on the chat the other day about something similar with other players, and it's all right just for us, for people to sit up and go, he's not getting a game, he must not be good enough, and he must not be this, he must not be that. But you hear the manager, and he's going, he's one of my best trainers, and he does this, and he does that. Well, how's he not playing? Because of the camaraderie, it's already there, and the continuity that we've already got in the squad. All the games were becoming important. So there wasn't any room, and I get it why Ange did it. There wasn't a lot of room for us to go, right, I'm going to drop McGregor today and bring in. See if we'd have won the league for, just say for talking sake, we went to Ibrox and won 2-1 that day, and that one is the league that day. Ange would have changed the whole team about that.
Aye, probably.
You would have saw Julian, you would have saw Gucci, you'd have probably saw McCarthy, you'd have saw people that maybe, boys that weren't getting again, Mikey Johnson, and he would have changed the whole team. Maybe even have brought Scott Bain back in, or when the league was finished, he would have done that. But it was just unfortunate the league went to the last day as it stood. Well, it didn't, because we beat Dundee United. But on the last day, I know he was never going to make a array of changes because they deserve that there. They deserve to go out in style the way they did. But I do think with a few games to spare, like we did under Martin Hill and other manager, he would have, other players would have maybe got opportunities that they didn't. I mean, I know he brought McCarthy and that on, and that's probably why he did, because they didn't have a lot of games. But it was just that season was just dead important, and it was still so tight. So I do think there's a lot goes on behind the scenes, mate, in terms of agents and this and that, especially with the young boys. Because I think if for talking sake you're an agent, you get a young boy who's like Kieran Tierney, and he's played a hunch of games for the first team, he's shown that promise, and right away, mate, you're in his ear going, listen, I can get you a bigger move, you don't need to stay here, I can get you this, I can get... And obviously Tierney wasn't he stayed a good few years before he did move, but a lot of these young boys straight away go like that. What, you can get me 85 grand a week, you kid man? Oh, nice one, get my man, get my dad, and before you know it, mate, the wee guy sees turned and he's away somewhere else. And it's easy for us to go money grabber. But can you imagine being 21-year-old or 19 or 20-year-old, mate, getting offered 85 grand a week just to go and sit a bench down at Crystal Palace, mate?
You're going to go.
I'd have said to them, if you go to Crystal Palace, body warmer or blanket or anything else, I'll sit with that wrapped around me as well, eating tea cakes, no bother. Do you know what I mean? Like Dana Lee Griffiths sitting eating tea cakes.
Aye.
So, aye, definitely. When somebody dangles a carrot above your head, mate, and says, I can give you 70 grand a week, but you might not play every week. You'd be like, I'm only 18-year-old, you're giving me 70 grand a week, yeah, if you're not. That's how a lot of these boys, loyalty nowadays, mate, in football is far and few between. That's how a lot of these boys' heads are turned, because their agents are in their heads. Even at the end, Ryan Christie was probably like that as well. I think his old man, Danny's here, was kind of, there's better things. I mean, obviously, Ryan's got to sell a good deal now that next season he's got to be playing the English Premier League. So that's after Ryan. And he took a big gamble because it wasn't a massive guarantee at Bournemouth to go straight up. But they did. They got the job done and that was it. But I've said, especially in terms of guys like Ryan and Kieran, and what else, apart from getting into the Champions League again and trying again in there, or what else is there for the guys to achieve other than winning more trophies and medals? Because they'd already won a double treble, a treble. Do you know what I mean? So you eventually run out of things to offer them.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from, like, we're going straight into the Champions League. That's in my opinion, that's a massive selling point this next season for Ange to do recruitment with. So a lot of especially young boys like Jota and like Starfelt and Kyogo and all these boys are like, oh yes, you're beauty, man. Like, these boys have came from teams, Ryan. They're not used to winning silverware, mate, because they're not exactly the toppest of teams. They're no top sides. I mean, Benfica are a good side, mate, but he wasn't one of Benfica's starters every single week, Jota. Kyogo played every week in Japan, but no disrespect to the Japanese league, it's no go a thing like the Champions League in it, right? I mean, Champions League's European football's pinnacle of where every team wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit like doing in England. They class the Premier League better than what the Champions League is. Do you know what I mean? And teams like Bournemouth and Norwich and these teams are, foaming at the mouth at the prospect of going up into the... I mean, there's Nottingham Forest just been promoted for the first time in 20-odd years. 23 years, is it? 24 years. So these guys are all foaming at the mouth now. The fact that they're going to be going to the Etihad and Anfield and Old Trafford and Spursy, the London Stadium and West Ham's ground, and that's a big thing for these teams. And again, these teams can pull in big players because of the league they're playing in. And Celtic have only now got that selling point of the Champions League. Big players don't want to come and play up at Dingwall on a wet Tuesday night, mate, up in the Scottish League Cup. Do you know what I mean? No disrespect, mate, but that's the way that's looked at in the bigger picture. So that's why Celtic have to do what they do in terms of you're buying a young boy to come in and develop for a season or two and then make the club a fortune and moving on to a kind of different type. I don't actually a bigger team because there's no many bigger in Celtic, mate. It's just a different type of challenge, whether it be abroad or down south or wherever they go. And that's it. But in terms of the young boys, mate, I think a lot of it's down to the agents and maybe their mums and dads giving it, oh, you're getting 70, you're getting offered 60, 70 grand elsewhere. Go and do it, go and do that. And I think that's why a lot of our young talent, between that and the fact that they don't tend to get a lot of game time, as you said, they need to be exceptional to get in the first team. So, I think it's a big combination of all that. Do you know what I mean?
I think as well, see I just think it is the financial thing. See, like you're talking about, obviously, Kirsty, Tierney, I think as well, obviously we're Celtic fans and we want them to stay forever, and why are these guys leaving? You've got to, like you've said exactly what I think as well, mate, that there's only so much you can do at a club. Like, Tierney's won this, Kirsty's won this, I've done this at Celtic. No, Tierney, well, I think Tierney, for the money side, went at the right time for us, because I think we've seen Newby's injuries, etc. If he stayed maybe another year or two, we might have no got that money from. At the time, I still think £25 million was daylight fucking robbery. But it's a good packet, considering he was a youth player. Yes. Sold him for nothing, sold him for fucking millions. So I think sometimes as fans, you kind of need to take a step back. But you know what? The guy came in, done well for us, won trophies, go to some money. It's time to go. Like you says, at Celtic, the main thing is you can do is getting to the Champions League. Aye, you win the league, you win trebles or doubles, but once you've done that, after for 2 or 3, that's maybe how as well. You've got to take your hat off to guys like Carl McGregor. They're still here. They're still got the same hunger, the same desire. They're still doing it every season, knowing that they're not only going to be in 3 or 4 competitions, but they're fighting for the same thing all the time. McGregor's been here since he was basically fucking born. Do you know what I mean? And he's still having the same desire and the will to win. And you've got to absolutely commend the guy, because the guy is fucking superb. I think that's like you said, but I do agree with you that there's a shelf life at club for these top players like your Tierney's. They do need to move on eventually, because there is, I don't want to say it make it stale playing with Celtic, but there's only so, like you say, there's only so much you can play against Ross County and it maybe improves a player. You need to eventually go and challenge yourself. I think you can get a better team than Arsenal, and even top at Scotland. I think I'm more Andy Robertson as a world class left back, but I do personally believe that Tierney is fucking he's ahead of him, in my opinion, in every department. Obviously his injuries have maybe no helped him, but if you ask all the Arsenal fans, they all want him to be fucking captain of Arsenal. That tells you everything. I think Andy Robertson's the only captain of Scotland because he plays at Liverpool. I don't see. He's a fantastic player, by the way, and fucking no doubt about that. But I put it on Twitter. I think Cam McGregor should be Scotland's captain. I think if he was Celtic's captain when they were looking for a captain, I think he'd be going to go to the role. And even though McGregor,
I don't think Andy Robertson could lead Rangers at a close, mate. I really don't. I don't think he's a guy. He's a go-to man when you're in trouble to G up the players. Or he doesn't strike me as that personality. I've never seen him shouting at somebody in the Scotland team once. I've always seen him just doing that with songs as if, oh, well done. Like, especially, see the other night, mate. 2 days before that, mate, he was on a booze cruise with Liverpool boys on a bus with Calvin Harris as a DJ, or drinking beer. And for me, that was a shambles. That's for me, that's just unforgivable. I've spoke at length now with my dad and some of my pal. I just don't think he should have been part of that night at all. And how I'll tell you what I know. I don't know what Steve Clarke's doing. I really don't know what he's doing in terms of his decision making when it comes to Anthony Ralston. But why are you calling him up to a squad and then playing a guy that's naturally left footed right wing back?
It was a fact, JP. He wished he's in the match day squad. That's what I don't understand. See if you want to go by stats, Anthony Ralston is Scotland's best right back last season. I think he get the most assists, I think he get the most goals, the most contributions. He's just won the league with Celtic. He's on a fucking high.
He's won a domestic double, mate. Not just won the league. He won a domestic double with Celtic. They're going into the Champions League next season. and he's still got a guy on the bench who, what did they finish? Was it fifth? And I've no disrespect, I know tomorrow, but Stephen O'Donnell, in my opinion, should not be starting ahead of Anthony Ralston. He should not be on a bench ahead of Anthony Ralston when Anthony Ralston's winning trophies and medals, and Stephen O'Donnell's lucky if he's won a game up on tunes with his missus on a Saturday night, know what I mean? Because he's playing the Sunday. No, but you know what I mean? He's sitting in the house playing Scrabble with his missus because he's got a game on a Sunday. And me, Ralston's running about with the league trophy to Celtic Park at the end of the season, smoking cigars with flip-flops down on, and the boys going to Ibiza and all that, and then he's playing ahead of him. I know he's played under Steve Clark, and probably that's what's got him out of jail, but in my opinion, I don't think Steve O'Donnell's a better player than Anthony Ralston. No for what I've seen, mate.
We'll put it this way, I think Steve O'Donnell's very steady. For Motherwell, he does well. He's put his head and shoulders a lot of Motherwell players. He's had a very good career, played with Scotland. Again, I'm like you can't knock the guy, but you've got to look on stats and you've got to look on players and ability. Yes. And Anthony Ralston, let's be fair, right? I think, as much as you don't want to say it, right? I think once the boy Nathan Patterson plays every week for Everton, the boy will be a star. We can see the boy's got a talent, right? As much as you don't want to talk about Rangers or ex-junior players, you see the boy's got a lot of potential. Where no, he reach the heights, I don't know, but he's not playing with Everton. I think he's injured now. He's not playing, so Anthony Ralston for me should be in the squad. And I would never tell any football player or any player to say to a manager, "Listen, don't pick me." But see, what is the point in picking a guy to come in a squad? He's not going to be playing. I know they've got this Nations League coming up, so he might play in that, right? But why just not say to him, by the way, for these two games, Wales and if they did qualify and play Wales and Ukraine, Anthony, you're not going to be playing, but you'll be playing in the Nations League. So take an extra week off and then come back and meet up. Aye. Why waste a week training when you're not going to be fucking playing?
Well, that's it. When you know you're not going to be part of the squad, exactly.
Because I think the biggest mistake Clark made as well, right? I just spoke about it to my mate Jerry. I was out for a few beers yesterday. Aaron Hickey, right, had a decent season for Bologna, right? But Ralston's just won the league, right, with Celtic. He's on a high. You've got fucking Thingmy just come up. Scott McKenna, right? Don't rate him, but he's on a high with Nottingham Forest.
He's done it. My dad's a big Nottingham Forest fan, so he follows him every week, mate. And apparently he's been outstanding this season with Forest.
So he's come off a high with Forest. Grant Hanley just get relegated minority, so he's already doing the dumps. Play the guys who are on form, the guys that are fucking buzzing at
the Jack Hendry's team, though, just won the league in Belgium as well. So,
that's what. But it was the decision with Clark to play him at right back was when you've got two right backs on the bench that are one lead in the fucking squad.
Aye.
That's bonkers. And I've been us on the podcast, we've been a big fucking, as much as I don't think Ralston for me, we all know he's a second left back at Celtic. Juranovic is for me he's top draw, right? But the guy should be Scotland's right back. It's as simple as that. I thought international players get picked on form. Well, they should be getting picked on form. Right? Well,
that's what I thought international football was all about, mate.
But we all know, once you're in these squads, unless you have a ridiculously amount of bad games in a row or you get injured or suspensions, you normally get picked all the time. You normally get picked in when it was squad. You might not play all the time, but you talk about O'Donnell, guys like that, even guys like Ryan Jack for Rangers, because you're in the squad now, they'll get picked. They'll roughly always get picked for the squad. So even guys like Stuart Armstrong plays every week for Southampton, he can only get fucking 10-15 minutes. You're like,
I know. It's not that, right? You know what I think's unforgivable as well? We're saying that, mate. It's the fact that we're playing in a game, we're 1-up, we're 2-1 down. We need a goal to get it to 2 each. Now, had it not been we were running out of time, it was only like 3 minutes of stoppage time or whatever it was. He was bringing on John Shooter. And we need a goal, mate. He's bringing on John Shooter. No. He brought on Jack Hendry. We need goals. He's got fucking Stewart and the other big boy Brown that he's picked for Stoke on the bench. 2 of them are strikers. Why not just throw the kitchen sink at it? It's just see stuff like that as a manager, mate. That is unforgivable. See if he does it and he has a go at it and we still get beat. Fair enough, at least he fucking tried. but try getting beat the right way. Don't get beat because you're making daft decisions, and it's that angers me, mate. It just really gets me down it gets me angry and gets me down when I see blatant stupidness happening right in front of me. You're bringing on John Souttar. We need a goal, and you're bringing him on. I don't mean that to be wrong, but what you hoping we get a set piece outside the box, or what you hoping we get a set piece like a corner at the edge of the box for a cross in, and he wins the header. And even the corners, that big goalie was dodgy, man.
Mm-hmm.
He was out washing Mondays, Everton, he's out doing all this, and he's not winning the ball. It was terrible. Every corner should have been right in and tap of him. Every single corner. Just the players also need to be tactically aware as well, Ryan. No just the manager. So see as a player, mate, see on a pitch. I used to see it when I played, mate. Goalies, he's not good at kickouts. Fucking shut him down. He's not good at kicking that ball out. One of the passes are going to be slow getting back to him. If you've got a fast striker, you get in right in and tap it up. He's going to make a mistake. So you become aware on the pitch, mate, when you see things happening. Like, you notice things. He's rotting me his right foot. He's rotting me his left foot. He's not good at this. He's not good at that. So you try and shut him down, put pressure on something to make him make a mistake. That's got to happen, surely, at senior level.
Mm-hmm.
Surely the players are tactically aware to go, hey, that big goalie's dodgy here, man. He's coming out and he's tackling. He wants the ball that much. He's tackling his own players.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And I think it was Big Jason on the chat earlier on, mate. I think he's spot on. I think mentally, mate, they were all caught up in the hoodoo. That's what's going on in their country, and I really do. I think it just seemed that way to me. Just right for the kick-off, mate, I went, you're not winning this. It's just not happening.
But it doesn't help when you've got ex-Scottish players saying that I'd get into the Ukraine. Look, listen, we all know what's happening. It's so hard. We all know it's so hard for them. I couldn't imagine what they're looking through their families, but this is football. It's not the politics. This is what's happening there. There's it's out with my control or your control.
Of course it is, aye.
You've got to win a game of football for. See, if I'm playing football right, people might think I'm bad. That's how he's bad. I'm not thinking about Ukraine. I'm thinking about winning for my country. I'm playing for Scotland. I might get a fucking World Cup. Is that what Gareth Bale says? What he says, I think it was yesterday. He says, "Listen, we all know what's happening there. It's so sad." And basically, but he says, "I want to go to a World Cup. I want to win." So, but I do agree with you. I do think that we did get caught up, and I think the media get caught up in it as well. It was getting all spoke about.
The fans joining in with national anthems and all that, it was just totally fucking you laugh. Come on, what chance have you got? I mean, realistically, you're at the game with a Scotland tap on, you're trying to sing a Ukrainian national anthem. Look, I know it's sad what's going on, as you've said, but it's a game of football. There's nothing we can do personally to alter what's going on here in the Ukraine. So I'm not wanting to be disrespectful and say, but as you said, you've got a Scotland tap on. You're wanting to watch Scotland winning. You're not there to watch. I was kind of taken back with that. I was like, what's going on, man? Like, I've never seen it like that before, mate, and I don't know if it's
I think it was a detriment to how we played. I think the players did get caught up on it because it doesn't help when the media keep asking questions about how do you feel about the situation. I'm like, these guys we all know the situation. Everybody's feeling the same for these guys in these countries. We all know how.
We were bad, Ryan, for the goalie right outwards, mate. We were terrible. That no, in fact, I'm not even going to say for the goalie because if it wasn't for him, that scoreline would have been embarrassing.
And obviously, talking back to Celtic, mate, goalkeepers. Obviously, there's been a lot of players getting released recently. I've got me last year. Obviously, Beaton and Rogic have left. Connell, Brian Mullen, Kieran McInroy, Ross Doohan, Afolabi, Barry Coffey, Dembele, Bodie Patterson, and obviously Henderson's obviously away to Hibs. So, like you said as well, Andrew's messing about with getting somebody dead. Wearing guys who are not going to be playing and basically out his plans. So, mate, that's probably maybe, I don't know, maybe taking, because Rogic and Beaton would have known decent money.
Well, that's what I was going to say, but they're the only two it's really affected their first team, really, is it?
Aye, so you're maybe talking maybe $100,000 a week or something of wages just out that right away.
Possibly, aye.
Maybe less, maybe a lot less, I don't know, but that's a lot of wages out as well, and that's without your Barcasses maybe going away, a Yeti going away. I talked about Sorrell maybe going to Lenny's team. There was rumours about this morning.
I know, I seen that today. I was laughing.
So imagine that in Cyprus. Sorrell. That's how you're going to hear Lenny shouting.
Part of that, you hear the Proclaimers playing in the background.
Sorrow.
My heart is broken. Sorrow. Sorrow's just got an OG.
Aye, so I'm just messed about when it comes to obviously getting the dead wood. That's obviously guys don't want to be playing. It's freeing up a lot of space in the squad. So even with guys for me, like even guys like Mikey Johnson, I think the boy either he's got to get sold or he's got to get a loan move to get him playing football again, because I don't think he's going to play. If we do sign Jota, talk about Abada.
You just gave Forrest a 3-year deal, I know. So
as well. So
surely that's some fees in front of him.
And obviously as well, I can't really I don't know if it was Robert, I think put it in the chat today. Abada and Dembele are about the same age, and look at the quality of Abada to Dembele.
Oh no, light years ahead.
So, I mean, it just shows you as well. Aye. So I don't know what you think. Obviously, guys getting released or guys getting told that they've no future. But
I've heard the day he's looking for a left back so that he could push Greg Taylor higher. He thinks he can be a better left.
Push him higher. Push him higher. A higher wheelchair. Fucking a higher baby chair.
He wants to put Greg Taylor higher.
Yeah, but higher on the fucking swing at Hugginsfield Park.
He's putting him into the husband lines up.
Aye, that's where he should be sitting. Getting on, Greg. You've done well this year, mate. I do talk about the left back situation, mate. I do think for.
I see your face there when I said that. You're right, yeah.
I think it's well known that we need a left back. I think Taylor's done well this year, but we all know, for me anyway, I step him up to the Champions League next year. I think, as I say in the chat, I think you need to improve every position every year.
No, definitely. Definitely.
As much as we've got Kyogo, Maeda, Giacomakis, we've got all these guys in positions.
Aye.
I think you need to improve. Obviously, you can't spend can't buy 11 players for every fucking position.
No, of course not.
But I think you need to improve in either you need to buy at least one defender, a midfielder. You need to improve in every position, basically.
Aye. No, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. I think we need somebody for Joe Hart as well, because obviously something happens to Joe. To be honest with you, mate, I don't have sheer confidence in Scott Bain or the big Greek phantom to come in and do the job. I don't know. I just nothing fills me with confidence here at all. And then but I'll tell you something, mate. I didn't think I would say this. But the season he's just had, see if something's to happen to Greg Taylor. I'm panicking, mate, because we don't have. It's all right with Alston. You've got your Ivanovic here, do you know what I mean? Or if vice versa, when your Ivanovic came out, it was Ralston to step in. We don't have that on the other side. Because I just don't know if the big boy's skills is good enough to come in and do it longer term. Well,
there's talking about him going to Aberdeen.
I heard that today, mate, as well. Again, is that the right move for the boy? Because he's gone to a team that don't play the same type of football as us as well. So you would kind of want him to play that kind of a similar style to the way, in my opinion, to have him develop what we want him to do. Then he needs to go to a similar team that plays a similar way. No a team, because let's face it, Jim, no disrespect to Jim Goodwin, but he doesn't play the same style as Ange. He doesn't want to try and play attacking football the way we do. So his idea, he's not even the same type of manager as Derek McInnes. So it's kind of, for me, it's not the style that fits him. I don't know. It was similar with Maguire going to Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock had a manager that tried to sort of play out for the back, and they kind of wanted him to step out with the ball. That's where he developed his game. He went to Kilmarnock. So I think he needs to go to a team that try and play similar. Maybe not in Scotland, it doesn't even need to be here. Just somewhere that that try and play the way we do. Because when he comes back to us, Ryan, if he plays in a team that just want to hoof the ball and get it to nose head or get it out, if in doubt, get it out. When he comes back to us, mate, it's going to be very hard for the boy to then adapt to taking a ball in a tight area and try to play out for the back and either taking people on or like beating people with your heat sort of thing. Because that's the way we want to play. You need to be able to play in tight areas. You need to be able to play in an area of the pitch a lot of other teams would be uncomfortable playing in. And then obviously you need to then be able to press the game up and down the line. So in my opinion, if a big boy skills is going to develop, he can't go to a team that plays the polar opposite to what you do. That's just my opinion, mate. I think it would be kind of ludicrous for a boy to go to a team like Aberdeen when they're not going to play the same type of football, but I don't know.
Well, see, technically we've got 4 left backs, haven't we? We've got Montgomery, Bolingoli, Scales and Taylor.
But I forgot about
and Bolingoli, the Horny left back.
He's probably still away doing fag guns that now, mate. So,
so you've got for me, Taylor is obviously a standout candidate. We've seen that, but I think this is for me. This is a window where we need to get the left back situation pumped. It's got to be sorted.
Yes.
Either Taylor plays every week and you've got somebody behind him, or you buy somebody better than Taylor and you keep him as a second.
When you say behind him, do you mean like putting Taylor higher than you want?
No, that's Jota's role, so he can't play there. No, but I do believe.
I thought my head had that though.
Man, he's chasing chickens, man. He's fucking there. He's just crazy, isn't he?
Apparently, see when he went to Yokohama to his send-off, apparently he was pressing the crowd. when he was waving to the crowd, he was charging up down the pitch and he was pressing people to say cheerio. He was sprinting to get his photos taken with people, and then he's got another bit to do the other photo bit.
But I do believe that the left backs, we've had about fucking 5 or 6 transfer windows, I think, since obviously Bolingoli and that was bought, and we've no had a. Obviously, for me, Taylor is a Celtic left back now, so. But we need to sort. For me, we need to sort that. We need to get 2 full backs that can play. We've got that now with the right back. You've got Juranovic as a top right back. Ralston can come in and play. Champions League level, can he cut it? Still remains to be seen. But you can trust him in a wee bit now that he'll do the job in a way that at least you're going to be a bit comfortable with him, knowing that he can do the job. Other side, if Taylor's not playing, as much as I'm not his biggest fan, I do agree with you. Who is going to step in if he's the start of the season, if we've not got anybody in yet?
That's what I'm saying. I'm panicking, mate, because like say for talking sake, it was early season where he hurted his shoulder against AZ Alkmaar, mind. And it was after that he sort of kicked on when he came back for that injury. But see what was to happen to him now, I would kind of be worrying. I'd be going, because we don't have. See, he's in it. It's not just that, right? His game is improved, but his assists and all that are there. And it's his energy, Ryan. I know it's his fitness and energy to get up and down the pitch. And he has a focal point of the team because he plays inverted and he does it really well. He comes in as that extra number 6 and gives McGregor a horn. He sort of helps McGregor to go one up because he comes in with the extra. You tend to find he comes in a lot more than Ralston does. Sometimes Taylor, I've even seen Taylor at right wing because he's drafted with the ball. And if you look back on a lot of our games, the wee man has been instrumental in a lot of our. I don't get me wrong, he makes mistakes, but so does fucking Jota. Jota gives a ball away. So, or Kyogo or Giacomakis, I've seen them give a ball away. I know that happens. But it's just certain. I think Celtic fans are just a bit fickle that way. They tend to, especially the more homegrown boys like the Scottish boys are. They get more of a hard time than what the foreign boys do because I don't know when the foreign boys make a mistake. For me, it's no highlighted. I had a laugh. I was at one of the games with Barry a while ago, and it was just after Stephen Mills got screamed and balled up the hands for getting the ball, passing the ball back away. Jota done that very thing the night we beat. Who did we beat? Was it St Mirren we beat at Park Keith? We Goodwin was still the manager then. We narrowly beat them. I think it was like 1 or 2 nothing we beat them. But Jota passed the ball back to me, and I was screaming like at Jota for doing it. And he's like, what are you doing? I said, well, Big Anne's done it to Stephen Mills. Why should Jota get away with it? Just because he's Portuguese, he's not Scottish. Like, it shouldn't be that. It should be a case of, no. And he did have options ahead of him. He just decided to turn back and pass it back to Starfield. So I thought, right, if it's good enough, I just had a laugh. It was a wee bit of, in a wee moment, it was a bit of banter as well, but it was a kind of, a wee reminder of, if you're going to shout at him, don't bother just shouting at him, and there's other people doing it, then you need to scream at everybody, do you know what I mean, and what you're trying to do. And I think the Scottish boys tend to get a bit of a raw deal because they're from Scotland. I don't know if that's what you see, Ryan, but the former boys tend to get away with a bit more than what the Scottish boys do, mate, you know what I mean?
I would probably tend to agree with you, mate. I think as well, it's maybe the reason why Ian McGeady got a hard time, James Forrest sometimes get a hard time, because they came through Scotland. So, no, I agree with you. I think sometimes they can get a bit more stuff towards them, and some guys who come to Celtic get off a wee bit as well. But a wee thing as well, I've actually just thought about this while you were talking there, mate. It's probably no coincidence that when Taylor came back into the squad, we actually started on this big one again, because you had Montgomery, you had Scales, you had Bolingoli. The back line was all over the place. Starfelt was slowly coming again, but as soon as we get the back line sorted, everything else just ticked forward.
Yeah.
You'd Michael Johnson coming out on the left side, and then the left back situation was all over the place. We didn't have a solid left back, but when the back line gets sorted, we just started to kick on for Jota came back into the team. I know there was a lot of games where it was a turning point, but for me, the game in Jota Aberdeen, for me, that was a game where I thought, you know what, that's us, we're starting to click here. Obviously, Montgomery played that day, and then I think after that game, he didn't play a lot. But for me, when Taylor came back in, and again, people who listen to the podcast know that I don't rate him that much, but there's no coincidence when he came into the team and started to play consistently well, the team started to fucking kick on and we started to win games.
No, definitely. I mean, I agree with you. There was a lot of continuity because it was Joe Hart, the same 4 every week, or just about. Now, I don't know how many games. It was remarkable. I don't know how many games they played, but Starfelt and Vickers, I mean, I think they played over 20 games together anyway, I think, the season, was it not? Because at the beginning of the season, the games that we dropped point, the two of them never lost a league game together. So, when they played together, at the beginning, the game at Tynecastle, it was Big Beat on it, played at the back that night with Red Starfelt. The game at Livingston was Big Carter Vickers and Welsh. And the game at Ibrox was Welsh and Starfelt at the back. But when Starfelt and Vickers played together, it was they never lost in the league. That's frightening. I mean, that was scary. And then obviously you had Juranovic playing a while, and then even when Ralston played, but Taylor was instrumental in the season as well. And it was, as much as people might not want to agree with me and say, a lot of people, Celtic fans are just, as I said, a lot of them are fickle, mate. They don't want to hear these kind of things, but you've got to kind of take your hat off and acknowledge that Taylor had a big part. See, the inverted way, Ryan, I thought he took to it quite quickly. And it suited him. He's became a bit, in my opinion, he's became a better footballer if Ange came in. He maybe even tell you that himself, Greg. I think his fitness levels went to a different level. And I think his whole game, you watched him, I mean, was it against Motherwell for part, mate? He was beating people for fun. He's confident enough to take people on. It was the one, we even saw the training video, remember? He had his left foot and he was dribbling and he was nutmegging people, and you're just like, I mean, that's scary, mate. And you see how him and Ralston have just come right onto the game. It's no coincidence, mate, at all, because they've been good belief for the manager. And it's not right us going, he's rotten. I see something in these boys, mate. He's came for our side of the world, mate. You two are going to play most weeks for me.
It just shows you.
At the beginning, Ryan, I know, before we sorry, mate, to cut you off.
That's all right.
We signed Juranovic, and for the first wee while, mate, until I was injured, Juranovic was having to play left back. Ralston was that good. So, it's, that wasn't that long ago, mate. So it shows you, well, Tony Ralston, where he's came from.
I think as well, mate, this year's proved as well that you don't judge it's just Celtic fans, it's just the club. You expect success for every player. I think now when a player comes in, you need to give him a run of games to judge him. You can't just have 4 or 5 games he's pissed, because we all know people are doubting Jackie Marcus because he missed a penalty, and we've said for day one on the podcast, me especially, about Juranovic, when he was signed, I was like, this boy's a belter. And even a few boys in the chat were a bit unsure about him. They're saying, we don't know. And I'm like, listen, this guy's how we've got him for this price tag is phenomenal. The guy's Croatia's right back. He's going to, I don't know if Croatia go to the World Cup, I'm not sure. So his value is going to go woof, because he's going to be playing every game, unless he obviously, God forgive, he gets injured or suspensions. He's going to play every game for Croatia, probably right back. Because he played the Euros every game, I think, right back.
They get gubbed the other night, I know, they get beat 3-0 the other night, and he was playing.
His value is going to step up, do you know what I mean? So, I think that whoever we get in the summer, whoever they come in, fans maybe need to do a bit of research, who these guys are and what they do on the day and how long it takes. Because like Maeda, it took Maeda a few games to actually come in, and now he's starting to kick in, but Kyogo came in right away and was just fucking delicious, man. Like, boys,
talk about Kyogo, I've read the day I know that he's ready to start. They're playing Brazil tomorrow. He's the one that's going to be playing, I think. Aye. He played Brazil, I think he played Brazil tomorrow, and I don't know if it's a friendly or an Asia qualifier or something. It will not be Asia right enough, because obviously Brazil are South American. I don't know what it is, but they play Brazil tomorrow. I don't know if it's a friendly, as I say, or it's a competitive game for something else, but they're saying their managers already, because the Japanese manager tends to announce his team a day or two before the games or something, and I think he's sort of hinted in Kyogo starting to lead, for leading the line for him. So obviously Maeda's in that squad as well.
It just shows you, mate, that we have got. I don't want to talk too soon, but see, obviously the way Rangers are going with their transfer business, obviously getting guys deals. For me, again, we're Celtic fans. We don't see things every week, but for me, when Scott Brown got his new deal, we all thought, it was good, but the way obviously it was managed, it made him look worse than what he was. A guy at that age shouldn't be playing every week with Celtic, and we all knew that he was slowing down. Rangers signing McGregor again, Davis, so they're still confirming McGregor, but there's rumours about a new deal. And then we're signing guys like Kyogo, and it's got to be very interesting next year how far we can go ahead of them. If we get to that, as a big if. But if that was us with Ange with 2 windies, and he's got a full season, pre-season to work with the squad now and get his recruitment, it's going to be interesting. And then that leads on to the last bit, mate. Obviously, the big documentary that was obviously how biased it was, how the league was won. I think it was how the league was fucking lost. I've never seen something so so biased to a team in my life. I've never, honestly, people can listen in maybe in a few days' time and say, he's a full of shite. No, I'm sorry. I have a lot of respect for guys who have played the game. Kenny Miller, bro. For me, I liked him at Celtic. I thought he was a decent player. Played at highest level with Scotland. But some of his comments, I was like, Kenny, man. Rangers have not dominated Celtic one game whatsoever. Not one game. Even in the semi-final, it was the two teams. It was a dud game. 2 teams were shite. It was penalties. Fucking luck of the fucking penalty shoot.
Aye.
Rangers have no dominated Celtic in any game whatsoever. Might have got in parts of a game, but some of this, honestly, JP, I think we've said it in the chat. It was like the league was lost.
No,
Celtic,
it was unbelievable.
It was even when the trophy dinner, it showed you like 2 seconds yet.
I know.
It showed you more about them losing the Europa League and us winning the league.
I know. I found that astonishing. They actually spoke about them in the Europa League, and I thought, this has got nothing I thought to do with European football. It's got to do with the Scottish League.
See, the thing it done me, mate, right? I think it was December. where it shows you like I think Celtic lost they drew a game or so. Was it December or something? No, sorry. I think the both teams had a fantastic run in December, but they showed more highlights of their games than us. I was like,
I know.
Wait a minute here. This is how the league was won. No, how the league was lost. And then they showed you Rangers won the Scottish Cup. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the league. That's the Scottish Cup. It's fucking different. And you're thinking, to be fair, I think it was it John Hartson or Michael Stewart? To be fair, Michael Stewart, he was actually good. He was like Celtic were superb, but I was like, boys, man, was this put together at the start of fucking the season, thinking they were going to win the fucking league? Do you know what I mean? That was, again, I might be talking through my Celtic tinted specs here for what I watch, but for everybody I've asked and everybody I've seen on Twitter and social media, it's not just me and you have got these thoughts, mate. Everybody who I know is a Celtic fan on Twitter is basically saying, was that about us winning the league, or was that about how they lost the league?
No, it seemed a bit of a tearful experience for some of them, mate. Kenny Miller included. Dear us Kenny, you're better than Kenny for South Park, but
Kenny Rogers.
Aye. He should have, man. He should have Jessica Fletcher walking about with him everywhere, man, because he is murder, isn't he? Honest to God. It's not even called Murder She Wrote, it's Murder She Caused, man. Everywhere she turns up, somebody dies. It was terrible, mate. It's actually got to an embarrassing point now where it's just so blatant, it's unbelievable. And it's
sorry to cut you off, but it's just, I think
that's all right.
It's gained so much disrespect to Ange and what he's done.
Absolutely.
That's what's annoying me about it.
How much was a highlight? I actually forgot about this. It was that long ago. It just seems like an eternity ago. But how much was it highlighted when we dropped to 6th in the league? It was in big bold green writing on the table. All the other teams were on black writing. Ours was in green. And I'm like, wow. And then it took you to, what was it they took you to? Was it when they'd interviewed Ange about, it showed you Ange getting angry? No angry, but it showed you him sort of.
He was getting pissed off.
He's like, you seem to be repeating yourself. And he said, well, you're asking me the same questions, so I'm going to repeat myself because you're asking me the same stupid questions. But as you said, Michael Stewart done well with. But don't just think, no, he's more or less like, don't just say that, Celtic are really good as well. Don't just say Rangers kind of made a good December. So did Celtic. But fair breakdown. And that, for me, I don't think that was mentioned enough on there.
Mm-hmm.
Fair turn of the year. When the January break up, we never lost a league game, mate.
Yep.
We were undefeated in all 8 games. So that's frightening, mate. What was it? Something like 32, 33 games we went unbeaten in.
Aye, give or take, mate, aye.
That wasn't mentioned. Why? Why was that no mentioned? You thought about how the league was won. Why was that no mentioned?
Didn't mention it whatsoever.
No. Rangers drew against Ross County. Oh my God, it was a tragedy. They didn't mention that, like, no. Celtic, they gave you a wee bit of Celtic winning the night at Parkhead and the game at 3-0, and then we beat them back to back.
Mm-hmm.
For a team, do you know what? See, last season, mate, they thought they were going to cakewalk that league. Now, the season before that, when they stopped us 1-10, we couldn't lay a glove on them. Ryan, they beat us once in the league this season, mate, out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
They think they've had a brilliant season. That's the thing about it, mate, is they still think this season's been dead successful for them. They walked away with a Scottish Cup, mate, that took them into extra time to win that.
I would say the Europa League ones covered there. Obviously, let's be fair, right? I know people don't want to talk about it. That run was amazing for them, right? I don't care about it.
Definitely.
I'm not going to...
Listen, you can't... You'd be an absolute fool if you were to say otherwise.
I'm not going to congratulate them. I'm just saying, as what they've done, that run, they've lost it, so it doesn't count for nothing, but...
Nobody writes about you, Ryan, unless you go and win it. Nobody talks about 2000. I mean, I've heard a few of them bringing up 2003 for us. And I'm going, well, we don't talk about it unless it's
mentioned.
I don't know Celtic fans that talk about it unless they're it's been brought up in conversation as in it's reminiscing on something that happened that season. I mean, bearing in mind, okay, we thought we had a good season, but at the end of the day, we failed. It was a failure. We never won fuck all the whole season. We had good results throughout the season, aye. But if you want to base your team on, we had a great result there, we had a good result there. But when did you do that at all, like with trophies? But many times, nothing. So you can't turn around and say, that was a good season. It wasn't. It was a failure.
Trophy. 1-1 trophy at 4.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They've won 2 trophies in 11 years, mate, and they think they're some side. Do you know what I mean? It's
funny you say that, by the way, right?
Oh, man.
Obviously, Connor Goldson, nobody wanted him, so he's signed for Rangers, right? He's probably, but the rumours we've heard, he's on good money, right? He's getting a good contract, right? He says that he actually started Rangers for the winning addiction. 2 trophies in 11 years?
This is a guy, mate, that got gubbed the Hibs in the semi-final.
Most of them.
No, was it the semi-final of the League Cup?
Aye.
And he turned around and he says that the team's lost to hunger.
I've said to you about this, and see, in the level of football, if I knew a guy in my team says that, you know yourself, back in the day, he'd be up in the fucking wall. He'd be in the dressing room.
I'd have been booted up down the training
pitch. That stuff you keep inside. You don't say stuff like that to the media. That's just...
No, because then it brings all that. I'd have been like that to him the next day or whenever I'd have went, who are you implying to there's lost to hunger? But me, him, who?
Well, that's similar to Neil Lennon when he came out and says about players the Ibiza. Who? Tell us who. Do you know? It's the same situation.
Aye. I know. And that's another one. Like, even Bruni and all that in the dressing room must have went to him and went, Neil, who are you talking about there? I mean, Bruni didn't think he's the type of boy to take that. So that maybe caused a bit of animosity there as well. Because I know I wouldn't have took that, mate, regardless of whether he was my gaffer or no. I'd have been like, who are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to be? It's easy to say stuff like that, mate, when we've just been beat to Fenwick Varos. That era, another one that really sticks in my throat, I know, mate. Fenwick Varos, you know what I mean? A team that haven't had do you know there's not been a guy bought after him for more than 2 million in the last fucking 15 years? I was like that, man. So what's your club structure then? But their top signing was like $1.5 million.
Is there not both of Fenwick's for us? We're rumoured to go. Is that
I got after that big boy Ryan Mamie, isn't he?
He's all right, but he's one of the best players.
Big striker, he's a crack. He's very, very similar to Big Edward.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that kind of about his game kind of calm, composure. He's skillful. He reads the game well. And aye, there was a rumour that we've been scouting him or we're interested in him or whatever. It'll be hang me. I think the one that's been funny the last couple of days with that one is the boy Mohammed Abdul Fani. There's going to be severe banter with us, I think, if we sign this boy. Do you know what I mean? Like, the Israeli boy, he's obviously probably with Abada and Beaton. But I'd imagine I could just picture the media headlines, you know, waiting on that boy signing. Here we go, another Fanny added to the long list of fans. I can't iron brew beside him on a floaty or something like that. I mean, he comes from a long line of fannies and you can just picture all the banter that's going to follow the boy, you know what I mean? And you just hope and you pray to the high heavens, Celtic sign a boy like that. He needs to be top draw. Otherwise, we're going to get totally done. Totally fucking ridiculed on the way through the media, man. If that boy turns out to be another, I don't know, another Sorrow or another fucking Willow Flood or something. But there is a lot of rumours, mate. There's rumours just about every day. People in the know, all social media. It'll be interesting, as I said, the way Hans does his business, it's all business. If the media do get snippets of it, it's usually run about the time they're ready to sign with the team, and then before they know it, a day or two later, they're standing paraded outside Lennoxtown or Celtic Park. That's the way it's tended to have been under Ange. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of business has been done. I do think early next, because we're back in at the end of the month, aren't we?
I think so, mate, aye.
Obviously they come back in, they'll do their testing and all that, and then I know the league doesn't start to the end of July or whatnot, but they're going to Austria to do their training camp, and obviously it gives them a right good few weeks work before the season starts. They'll have had an extended break because the Champions League, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. The Champions League group will be sitting watching all the qualifiers on the telly like that. Like, who's dafty's having to qualify being on the tournament, know what I mean? Then we're going to get up with 3 belters, man, when we get there.
Fucking Real Madrid, fucking AC Milan, fucking, know what I mean?
Real Madrid, AC Milan and Chelsea.
Aye. Canter.
Going to get absolutely scalped, man.
See, talk about obviously...
Lucky if we make the Europa Conference.
There's obviously talking about people were talking about teams you could get and all that, right? I can't remember who it was that put it into Twitter. Guys are all saying who do we take, and I'm thinking, guys, I think somebody says about Spurs. I went, do you actually that? Do you not realise who their manager is, who they've got up front, who they've got in midfield? Spurs, I don't care anyway, Spurs would fucking do us, home and away, they would do us, in my opinion. Spurs aren't they shite? They've got one of the best strikers in the world up front, and as much as we think Staff out and Vickers are good, Harry Kane will think they two about. Do you know what I mean? It's this, but this is where you test yourself when you've got
Harry Kane couldn't even throw Grant Hanley about at Wembley. Come on, give the boys a bit more credit.
No, but obviously I'm a bit of banter, but
Jack Grealish made sing for Man City for 100 million.
That's crazy.
My point of that is he's no Stephen O'Donnell's only like 90% of Jack Grealish's pocket for that night. So
technically, no, realistically, whoever we get, it's going to be fucking hard. There's no group or no team that I could say I would take because
the picture we got Liverpool. Oh my goodness! Greg Taylor's going to be up against Mo Salah.
but this is as much as it's going to be hard because obviously it could be an absolute amazing group and you do amazingly well and you might overdo well, but whoever we get, it's going to be hard. But it's good for us to see. I'm wanting somebody different like Real Madrid's or teams I've not had before. I know this sounds spoiled, but I'm sick of seeing Barcelona and Benfica and AC Milan all the time. I want somebody like Real Madrid. It sounds daft, but I'd love to see Benzema play. Like, it's just for me, as a selfish as a fan of football, imagine him playing at Parkhead live.
No, I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? This is
I know what you mean. We've had Neymar and Mbappe. We've had all the boys. Do you know what I mean?
That's somebody different.
Yes, and it would be. Do you know who I would take? I think that's just crazy as well. They're in pot one. I would actually take Frankfurt.
If they're your top group, mate, I think obviously
they're in pot one, Ryan. You know what I mean? And I think I see the ratings for winning the Europa League for it. I think that's absolutely madness because me personally, Ryan, I know people might say they're a good side and they finished 11th in the Bundesliga, mate. They're no one of the elite sides in Europe, man. Come on.
I think if you win your league, you should go. If you win your league, you should win. Simple as that. If you win your league, you should need to qualify. Obviously, the coefficient's a big thing now, right? But just because Leicester won the Premier League for the first time, and they get right into the fucking group stages. You finish fourth. But Celtic need to do qualifiers when they win the league.
Crazy.
It's fucking madness how a team who won the league for the first time in the history, and yet Celtic win the league just about every year, and then they qualify.
That's mental.
But who decides that this is the way it's got to? It's no fair. It's no fair. See, even if it's Rangers or Aberdeen or Hibs, whoever wins the league, you should be getting right in because you're the champion.
No, definitely. I agree, mate. It's absolutely crazy. It's nuts. It's mental. But to go on, we're going to get scalped, aren't we, wise with teams because it's no scalped as in we might not get scalped on the pitch, but we might. But we're going to get belters because I think what is it, pot 4 we're going into as it stands.
We're the bottom bunk, mate, the bed.
We're going in, so it's mental. It just seems mental. I do think things change, don't they? If results for other countries don't go your way and whatnot, then you're you can go up a level, or you can, do you know what I mean? I do think, does it change still like that? I know it used to.
I'm not sure, mate. See, to be fair, mate, see, 'cause I'm not playing football now, see all the rules and all that now, I've lost track of it all. I just really focus on Celtic, mate. I don't really know the full details of how the groups work, but it's just the fact that we're in pot 4. I'm sure, was it not last year, we were in pot 1 for the Highway League, weren't we? Was it pot 1 or pot 2 we're in for group stages? For Europa League
I think
last
so,
year?
aye.
And then now we're in pot 4 for this? How does that work?
I don't know, it's mental, man. It's crazy. But I've heard Rangers is qualifying as well. They're unseeded for the playoff round, but they're seeded for the one before it. Should they get through?
That's interesting.
So, to me, that's crazy, I know, because they've just got to the final already, Europa League. So, how are they seeded for one, and then they're unseeded for the main one, but which would be the next stage to the Champions League? And they're nasty games, I know, mate. Do you know what I mean? These games are nasty at that time of the season because you're back in early for pre-season, and then you're trying to get yourself and team together to get up to scratch to then have to negotiate these ties, and you're playing mud splasher teams for Azerbaijan and it's all isn't it? Fucking Paisley backdoor mud splashers, man. They're all for teams here in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan.
It's teams that you should be beating, but they're tricky because of when you play them.
Well, that's it. They're tricky because of when you play. I mean, look, it was only a few years ago they get beat by that Progress Nigercom, or whatever they're called, the team for Luxembourg. Your brother Pedro in the bushes shouting at people, and the team bus was getting attacked with burgers and all sorts, and it was funny for us to watch, but it probably wasn't funny scenes to imagine being in that country and staying there and all that happen. Well, saying that, I can say that because we stay in this country and things like that happen here week in and week out, and that's just ain't got to celebrate when they get beat or don't. So they're like that here, let alone in other countries, but it just didn't seem that long ago for things like that happen. So the games aren't just gimmies, they're not just, well, we'll turn up and we'll turn that small bear. Look at Malmo. I expected them to beat Malmo, and look what happened. Malmo beat them home and away.
Well, talking about Malmo.
They had a big push to beat them with 10 men.
Talking about Malmo, big John Dal Thomason was right, wasn't he?
Aye, they need the Champions League money.
Right, and now they're signing guys. Fucking.
Now they're giving Stephen Davis a contract. It should be Stephen Davis a fucking snooker player because he needs snookers. See,
obviously, I've two of my pals Rangers fans, right, and Dave even says, for my opinion, anybody, you've lost the league with the players. So how are they going to do that again? How are they going to? Do you know what I mean? Well, from my understanding, you've lost the league with the guys, right? So they're going to sign them, and then how are they going to do it again? But how can they bring their mentality back up again? Do you know what? Let's go again. How can you win the league with the same squad? You can't. You've got to refresh, and like we've done with Ange, we done a full fucking rebuild. He came in and went, nah, we were straight last year. Rebuild. So I think they need to do the same, mate. But again, there's going to be a lot of chopping changes for the both teams, mate. But overall, mate, the last few days and the last week's been your overall with Celtic and obviously going forward, mate.
Just missing them, mate. I'm missing going to the game and I missed a lot of them, obviously, when my accident happening to me and stuff. I missed the sort of tail end of the season there, and I missed the trophy day, and I had to watch that for the house. It was quite hurtful, to be honest with you. I wasn't able to attend, but overall, mate, it was just I'm looking forward to obviously getting back into the Champions League. It's exciting, mate, knowing what's coming up, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of signings and who's coming in and probably who's still to leave, and just you're missing that day-to-day seeing the Celtic media coming out with something new. Or, as I said, but the players have deserved it. In my opinion, have deserved this break. I mean, I feel sorry for like Callum and Greg and David Turnbull. And I mean, obviously David probably still needs a bit of work. He needs a training and that. He missed a lot of football there as well. So, but like the other boys like Greg and Callum, they had a long season. They played a lot of football last season for Celtic, and now they're away with internationals. And then the boys that are on international duties, like Big Starfelt, there's another one that we're here now. That's known as bad as what we feared. He's got to be ready for pre-season, but it was a back injury instead of it was his back sort of to tap his hamstring. It's just a muscle. I think he's just inflamed a muscle or whatever he's done for what I've read today. So fingers crossed he can recover in time to begin pre-season. I know he's part of the Sweden squad now, so he'll not take any further part in the next couple of games that they've got for this Nations League. In fact, I think they were playing tonight, Sweden, weren't they? They were playing...
Aye.
Who were they playing? Was it Spain?
No, Norway, I think.
Norway. So it was Norway, aye.
2-1 to Norway.
All right, okay. I knew they were playing tonight, so... but aye, as I say, hopefully that's not as bad. We're hearing that, obviously, Big Cameron, he got 45 minutes for USA the other night as well. Juranovic played the other night for Croatia. They were on the receiving end of what you're doing. They get gubbed 3-0, which was unexpectedly as well. But as I say, you just opened his Big Giacomakis. He played against the ROI. Apparently played quite well the weekend. Sorry, not the ROI, Northern Ireland.
He played well, aye.
I heard he played well, so I never seen the game myself, but I heard he was instrumental in what Greece were trying to do. So, you just hope these guys come back with a clean bill of health and then they're good to go for pre-season. I do think some of them will get extended time off and whatnot. The Japanese boys here, maybe, apart from Hatate and Idaguchi, I think Kyogo and Maeda, they're a baby. But there's another one that's kind of tending to grow arms and legs. I'm reading more and more about it. And he's even been asked about it himself. He's quite bashful on the topic, but smiling and full of happiness. Was this big Ko Itakura?
Aye.
He's a centre-back for Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
But he was supposed to be going to Schalke. The Schalke have had a bit of financial difficulty just now and they're unable to sign him. They're unable to pay the £4.5 million to sign the big man. So he's now been strongly linked, both with Matt Lawwell coming here and obviously Ange knowing the boy. He's played under Ange, I think, Eric Yokohama. That he's been strongly linked to come here. And when he was asked about it in an interview recently for Japan. And he sort of agreed that he knows about the interest, which is odd because normally players will try and distance themselves in an interview like that, right? So he acknowledged it. And it would make sense as well because I think he's good pals with Kyogo and Maeda. So I wouldn't be surprised. It might be one to watch, mate. I wouldn't be surprised if that deal was to happen, whether that be a loan deal or a permanent signing or whatnot. But I think again, mate, a big carrot to dangle there's the Champions League as well. So with this boy, I know he's been out on loan the last couple of years for Man City. Because obviously, I mean, you need to be exceptional, I think, to get into Guardiola's teams. So, although then you say that, and then he plays like John Stones, and in my opinion, you're better with the Rolling Stones because he's absolute murder.
He's guff, isn't he, man? He's fucking guff.
Better with kicking the Stones, isn't he? He's fucking mince. No, I disagree with myself there, actually, in that opinion, to be honest, when you bring up a guy like John Stones. But I can see what people see in him as well. I get both sides of the argument. In my opinion, I don't think he's good enough. And I think he's part of the reason as to why they've still not won the Champions League. Playing a guy like that at centre-back. I think they missed the ball, they missed the bus big time and they never signed Van Dijk. They had a chance before they went to Liverpool. And I think Man City might have just scored there and won the Holy Grail that they tried so much to do.
Imagine Diaz and Van Dijk at the back. Fuck me, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think, see that small difference, mate? I think that came with the difference of winning a title at the Champions League to winning the Carabao Cup. Do you know what I mean? I think that came... I know that might sound funny, mate. To me, that's a big difference, mate. That's
an English petrol tank cup.
That's what I'm saying. That's you get a couple of extra fish slippers for winning that one. You do up here. Do you know what I mean? So it's because it's Harry Ramsden sits at the back of it all. So, but as I say, but no, going forward, mate, it's going to be exciting. It's underhand. I think everything's going to be exciting for Celtic. And then hearing Ange's recent interview, no, I don't think he's in any hurry to go anywhere. I think he knows he's on to a good thing here. And I'm sorry it's getting a wee bit dark here, mate, where I am. I look as if I'm fading away into a shadow, but I look to him. I'm not. It's not turning into a horror scene here. It's just gets to a certain point. This bit of the house just dives down unless you turn the light on. And I don't want to big them to move away from here because it's a good wee bit away from me. So
just a bit done anyway, mate. It's all right.
It means I'm going to have to leave the camera, and I don't want to.
No, but I'm like you, mate. I think it's especially on the transfer front. Sorry.
Can you see me now?
Can you see me now, bogus gas man? I do think it's going to be interesting. The next kind of maybe 2 to 3 weeks, I think things will start clicking in place. Hopefully by the end of the week, Jota and Vickers will be signed, because I think that's the two big things for me, the new anyway, that I think need to get done. And I think once they're done, I think the ball will just kind of get rolling, and then obviously we'll look forward to the Champions League. We'll obviously do more speaking about that as the time comes to draw. But again, mate, it is this time of the season, for me, it is shit, because you like hearing rumours and you like hearing stuff about Celtic, but you do miss watching it, you miss talking about it, and there's only so much you can talk about when it's not on. But again, mate, it's been a good chat again for stuff again that you highlighted. Obviously, we like to highlight stuff. It's not in the media, so we need to highlight it. But again, mate, good chat again, mate. Hail, take care.
Hail, mate.
Morning, Celtic.
Morning, Hoops.